Now, those of you who know me will know that I like a good project. And even more than just a good project, a project where you resurrect something that is old and put it back into full use is an even better project. And not only that, with this project I am putting something rather special and rather old back together, hopefully, and I haven't had to pay for the bits. So this is the ultimate project, I would say. What we've got here is a George Burns 36-inch unicycle frame, which the original owner of this unicycle purchased in 2005 from the United States. This is probably quite unique in that way. And here we have a 36-inch wheel with an airfoil rim, I believe it's called. And in 2001, the original owner of this unicycle managed to break the crank. It's a Cotterless square crank, so they're not the strongest, but all the same, it lasted from 2005 to 2021. And if we look at the original Coker tyre, you will see that this unicycle has done an enormous amount of kilometers in that time. These tyres you cannot get anymore, these frames you cannot get anymore, these rims you cannot get anymore, so that one can be filed. What we have down here, as I say, I haven't had to pay for these. It's not my unicycle, as you've probably guessed. I'm doing this for somebody else, for the second owner of this unicycle. But I love doing jobs like this, so I'm very happy to do it. And hopefully we'll have another 36-inch unicyclist in the Norwegian gang. So down here we have some new spokes, which are 14 gauge, whereas the ones on the original wheel are thicker at 12 gauge. Now, according to the Oracle Roger from unicycle.co.uk, modern 14 gauge spokes, who in fact actually built that wheel in 2005, 14 gauge spokes, modern 14 gauge spokes are just as strong as old 12 gauge spokes, so absolutely no issue going down. The only issue that you have is that the holes in the rim are too big. So we've got these, which are called Sapim HNM washers, which will basically rim washers so that the spoke nipples sit snugly. Here we have a new Cotterless 125mm hub, a new Foss latex tube, and not new but donated by somebody who had swapped over to another tyre, King George 36-inch tyre. So there we go. Now I'm going to, another interesting thing very quickly is that this wheel was built with 4 cross on the spokes, whereas all the other wheels I built have been 3 cross. And when I spoke to Roger from unicycle.co.uk, he recommended that I build this at 4 cross, so I'm sticking with the original. So hopefully next bit is to take that apart and then start screwing it together again. Okay, so I've managed to get that apart without losing any of those inside the rim. So now it's time to Google Sheldon Brown's wheel building and start putting the new spokes into the hub and putting them onto the rim, hopefully without losing any of those spoke nipples inside the rim. We'll try. So now I'm on the final set of leading spokes. I've put them all in, and now I have the challenge of not losing the spoke nipple and this little tiny washer inside the rim. And the trick is, let's take this one as an example. The trick is that I learnt from Roger at unicycle.co.uk. If I hold this up, is you use a spare spoke and you screw it onto the spare spoke, and I need to go through this hole here, and then because I want the washer I have to work from upwards. You screw that in and then you can screw on your spoke like that. Like that, and then unscrew that one, and then spoke nipple and washer are through the hole and you haven't lost them inside the rim. And there we have it, all 36 spokes in place, all still loose but all correctly interlaced with 4-cross and looking good. Hopefully, if I've done it right, that's now the valve hole is in between 2 spokes that go away from each other and not 2 spokes that go towards each other, and it is. And if I've done it right as well, then when the wheel is pointing to the right, we should be able to read unicycle.com through the valve hole. And yes, we can. I would say that that is a success. So now begins the very tedious job of unscrewing every single nipple all the way out and then counting the number of turns in. I think I will start with 8 turns on each one until we start to get something close to tight. So here it is. Spokes are at least a little tight after 16 turns of each spoke nipple. So that's it for today, and tomorrow we're going to start straightening it, and hopefully, today's Thursday, by the weekend we'll be out riding on it.